Speaker.
Call the member for Port Stephens.
Mr Acting Speaker. There are many places in Port Stephens of incredible beauty and environmental significance. One such place is a parcel of land which sits between the communities of Fishermans Bay and Anna Bay. It's a pristine coastal tract of land which is straddled by the Tomaree National Park. Living in the National Park, there are no less than 24 threatened fauna species, including koalas, powerful owls and sugar gliders. Local residents frequently see these beautiful creatures, and indeed, on the last occasion I visited the area, I was delighted to see a snoozing koala in the treetops. Unbelievably, earlier this year, a joint regional planning panel conducted a hearing and approved the development of this pristine parcel of land by Urbangrowth for a 106-lot residential subdivision. But I am here today with good news. People power can work. Last Friday, after a lengthy, hard-fought battle by the community, Urbangrowth finally abandoned its plans for the 24-hectare residential subdivision. I commend and congratulate the founders and members of the Anna Bay Community Action Group, which subsequently became the South Tomaree Community Association, for their tireless work over many years to oppose irresponsible development. I make special mention of Ros Scholes and Simona Reno for their passion for the environment and the community in which we live, leading the charge against the proposed development. Stuart Damon and many others also made significant contributions over many years. I would also like to recognise the University of Newcastle's Legal Centre for their willingness to take on a case on behalf of our community. Without passionate and committed people from the community challenging the decisions made every step of the way, and the legal team to back them up, we would have seen this unique tract of land gone for good. But why should it take a community having to commence action in the Land and Environment Court against Urbangrowth and the JRPP, both government instrumentalities, for anyone to properly look at what was at stake? Surely the planning and approval process is flawed if there has been no genuine scrutiny of the application at any stage in the process until court proceedings have been initiated. How can a joint regional planning panel be the final arbiter of a development application in such an environmentally sensitive area when it is the government agency that's making the application? The absurdity of the process is highlighted by the fact that there were only 4 members sitting on the JRPP for the hearing, 2 of whom are councillors on the very council who gave the initial approval for the development, including the Mayor of Port Stephens. Not content to sit back and watch the environment destroyed, the community maintained a campaign that I was privileged to witness and support. The campaign not only included commencing legal proceedings, but also commissioning aerial photography, independent wildlife assessment reports, and meetings with Department of Planning officials. The Hunter Koala Preservation Society was always a vocal opponent of the plan in an area where the Mayor of Port Stephens uses koala lover as an insult. Unlike reports prepared in support of the DA, the Society was able to establish that in fact koalas are often found in the Fishermans Bay area. The lack of transparency and communication from Urbangrowth and Port Stephens Council from the start of the ordeal was astounding, and it would have been easy for many people to give up, but not the group that I'm paying special tribute to today. They were accused of being anti-development, a charge they firmly denied and stood up to, pointing out that when the DA was filed by Urbangrowth, 2,500 properties were on the market in Port Stephens, one of the region's hardest hit by mortgage foreclosures. In other words, if people wanted to move to the area, there was housing in abundance. Pristine habitat in a vulnerable wildlife corridor did not need to be bulldozed, paved and sold. They also drew attention to large tracts of land, privately owned, cleared land in the same area that would have been much more preferable for development. Common sense did not prevail. Urbangrowth continued in its bid to decimate environmentally sensitive environment. I'd like to share some of the Facebook comments that appeared after the news of the community's victory. And I quote, "Most people told us not to waste our time, some quite unkindly, but we had to try. The wonderful group of people who make up the Anna Bay Community Action Group, now South Tomaree Community Association, have facilitated a virtual miracle, proving that individuals can make a difference in our collective world. Unfortunately, I share the community's fear it's not over yet. The land remains in the ownership of the Land and Housing Corporation and forms part of Crown Land's home site program. The fear is seemingly justified when it's been recently reported that, I quote, the decision by Urbangrowth to withdraw its application has disappointed Mayor Bruce Mackenzie. He vowed he would live to see the day where there will be houses on this land." End quote. I support the community in its call to have the land returned to the people, to ensure that the spectre of irresponsible development does not continue to loom large over the community or future generations. And I thank the tireless community campaigners for their unwavering commitment to environmental sustainability and the right of future generations to experience pristine Australian bushland.
I think